Welcome students to Political Science Chapter 3 Why Do We Need a Parliament? Session 1. In this chapter we shall discuss the functions of Parliament and in what ways these functions relate to the idea of a parliamentary democracy. It is also important to understand the critical role played by the citizens. We Indians are proud to be in a democracy. But the relation between the ideas of participation in the decision making and the need to have the consent of the citizens, these two elements together make us a democracy. And the Parliament expresses this in the best way. So let us see how the Parliament enables our participation in the decision making and control of the government, thus making it the most important symbol of Indian democracy and a key feature of the Constitution. So let us start with our first subtopic. Why should people decide? ये जानने के लिए हमें थोड़ा पीछे colonial rule में जाना पड़ेगा. India became independent after a long and difficult struggle in which many sections of society participated. They were inspired by the ideas of freedom, equality and participation in the decision making. लेकिन इंडिपेंडेंस से पहले ऐसा नहीं था. When we were under the colonial rule, people lived in fear of the British government and did not agree with many of their decisions, nor could they criticize their decisions, because if they did so, they would be in danger. With the freedom movement, this situation changed. Nationalists openly began to criticize the British government and make demands. Back in 1885, Indian National Congress demanded that there should be elected members in the legislature and they should also be given the right to discuss the budget and even ask questions. But only some elected representation was allowed, that too after 25 years, in the Government of India Act of 1909. Though this was in response to the growing demands of the nationalists, still the adults were not allowed to vote or even participate in the decision making. बस ये जो हमारा colonial rule का experience है, plus the participation of different people in the freedom struggle, all this leaves little doubt that all persons in independent India would be able to participate in making decisions. Moreover, after independence we would belong to a free country. Now, this did not mean that government could do whatever it feels like. Rather, it meant that the government had to be sensitive to the needs and demands of the people. All these dreams and aspirations of the freedom struggle in India were made concrete in the Constitution of Independent India. Do you know how? Through the principle of universal adult franchise. That is, all adult citizens have the right to vote. So now I think we all have very well understood why should people decide. Moving on to our next subtopic, people and their representatives. For any democracy, the most important is the consent or the desire or the approval and participation of its people. You can take a look at the picture on page number 32. In this photo, the election staff is using an elephant to carry the election material and the EVMs to the polling booths in the difficult area, in the areas where there is difficult terrain. See, understand how important voting is for everyone. The decision of the people only creates a democratic government, and this decision only decides about its functioning. In other words, we can say the individual or the citizen is the most important person, and hence the government and all other public institutions need to have the trust of these citizens. Look at the picture on the first page of the chapter. What do you think the artist is trying to convey through the image of the parliament? Instead of the pillars of the parliament building, people are standing. Different people coming from different backgrounds. This shows the importance of the citizen or individual. Now the question arises, how? How do the individuals give approval to the government? Through elections, of course. People elect representatives to the parliament. Then from these, one group forms the government. And the parliament, which is made up of all representatives together, controls and guides the government. And this is how people, through their chosen representatives, form the government and also control it. I hope you have understood the introduction and the subtopics of today. I would like you to read the chapter, the first 2-3 pages of the chapter, and in our next session we will try and understand the role of Parliament in detail. Thank you. Have a nice day.